And welcome to this edition of One-on-One. And joining me today is the chairman of the Board of Supervisors, which is Stephen Miller. And Mr. Miller comes to us from Casa Grande. So we'll talk a little bit about what our new chairman of the board plans on, what his plans are throughout the four-year term, and how does he think so far of Pinal County. So Chairman Miller, thank you for joining us and welcome to the county.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
Well, maybe you should be welcoming me since I don't know.
No, thanks for that kind introduction. But to start out with, what do I want to accomplish? I think the thing out in the forefront of what I heard from the constituents as I was running this past year, somehow, some way, you need to lower property taxes. And I think that seems to be the point of the spear as to what I want to try and accomplish. I think more than anything, when you get deep down into the tax scenarios and how we're going to do it, I don't know exactly how we're going to do it, but I'm going to give it the college try. I think I stand pretty firm on not spending money, and I think the spending is what's going to bring down. If we can reduce the spending, we can reduce the property taxes. And that's going to be the challenge. I think the number that you'll look at is the levy. Our levy is $230. The average in the state of Arizona is about $177. I'd like to see that down in the 170 range at least in my first term, and maybe lower. It's a cause and effect thing. If we can get the property taxes down, we will be able to attract industry and businesses to come to this area. That translates to jobs. Jobs translates to actually more revenue for the county. It's a pretty simple formula, and I was successful at the city of Casa Grande with those types of actions to help draw in businesses and industry. So that's what I'm all about.
Good. Well, let's talk a little bit about your interaction with the board. You have 5 members now. The Board of Supervisors used to be 3 until now. Is it different working with 5 supervisors all pretty much on an equal level? You don't have a mayor here, but you do have, yourself as the chairman and 4 other members.
Well, my experience as a city councilman was 7. I think that's the thing that I'm used to this environment. I enjoyed having 7, and I will enjoy having 5, because you'll get 5 different perspectives about things. It helps you form and formulate how you want to go about solving problems, that it's fair equally across the county. Again, with 7 council members, it was always great to hear the other perspectives. It helped us form something that was fair and balanced for everybody in the city. So I don't have a problem working in this environment. I like it. I've been there again, and knowing we had a mayor. However, I always said the mayor only has 1 vote, and that's really what it amounted to. He ran the meeting as I run the meeting here, and he signed the documents as I signed the documents here. So
the numerous ones, right?
Yeah, exactly. and it's still a vote. It's just 1 vote, and he didn't have any more power. The mayor didn't have any more power than I did. His just 1 vote, and again, the chairman here only has 1 vote. So I think it's a great environment to legislate from. So.
There's been quite a culture shift within the county itself, considering that the county has always been run by a Democratic board, and now there's 4 Republicans and 1 Democrat on the board. Is that a little strange in your eyes, considering that you've been here in this county pretty much all your life, and you're used to people like Jimmy Kerr in your district, David Snyder, Dean Weatherly? Yeah. Is it a little bit of a difference to you, or is it just kind of business as usual?
Well, this is probably the most non-democratic Democrat county in the United States, maybe. It's so conservative, so conservative. So in that respect, yeah, the county was seemed to be ruled by the Democrat Party. But I can tell you, having lived here 41 years and interacted with Democrats for 41 years, their values were not much different than mine. Very rarely were they different than mine. And I think that that's probably the shift here is, yeah, now we have more Republicans registered because of the tremendous growth that we had. What were we, the #1 county in the United States for growth, or number two?
Number two.
No, yeah. So anyway, but I think it's just in name in a lot of ways. The values of the citizens of Pinal County are very, very similar and have not changed. Now, you know, there's the hard line and the party line and that type of thing. But as I took this office, being elected, yeah, I'm a Republican, but you know what? I'm everybody's supervisor in District 3, and I like to think any decision I make will benefit all the citizens in Pinal County. But and I welcome anybody that needs my services or help. I don't care what party they're from. I don't care what affiliations they have. They are to come see me and talk to me, and I'll see what I can do to solve their problem.
Has this been different then from your time on the Casa Grande City Council? Just curious, you know, more work? Is it a different type of work?
It is a little more work. It's more hands-on than the council was. Where we arrive at what our responsibilities are as a supervisor are a little bit different than being a city councilman. But that really only has to do with the way that the state constitution is written and what we're in charge of. Okay, so, and as a city councilman with the city manager, our police chief is hired, our public works department guy is hired, you know, the fiduciary or the town financial side was hired. Here we have elected officers, so that dynamic is different. You know, they're constitutionally, Arizona State Constitution allows us to elect the sheriff, elect the treasurer, the assessor, the recorder, the school superintendent, and so those dynamics are slightly different. And you know, if you think about the way they structured the Arizona Constitution with the idea that now the 5 of us, or what was 3 of us, but you hold the purse strings. So anyway, so I'm anxious to get into the budget season to see how that flushes out.
Do you think there's going to be 5 different opinions on that budget?
No, I mean, yes, everybody has a little bit, probably has their pet peeve, but you know, I think that in a broad way, we won't be miles apart. I think we'll come together with something that's going to work for everyone.
Let's talk a little bit about when it comes out to, you know, working with the constituents. You've been on the job since January 2nd, and right now we're taping this in February, early February. So far, your reaction with constituents, your actions with constituents, how has it been?
Oh, it's been good. It's been good. I work well with people. You won't wait around a long time to get an answer from me. It might not be the answer you want, but you won't wait for the answer. I'll get back to you, and I'll tell you what I can and I can't do. That served me well as a city councilman. I'm sure it will serve me well as a supervisor. I have a general concern for everybody, and you know, and if there is something that we can, if it's a service that we should be providing, then we're gonna, you know, attend to it. I am very, very fortunate to have my administrative assistant Wanda is so familiar with the procedures and the policies, and she has the historical data behind her to make my transition into this job great. And kudos to her. She has done a terrific job getting my office set up and getting me pointed in the right direction on a day-to-day basis. And she is the front line. She's in the trenches, because that is the first contact most of my constituency will make, and she knows.
She's very pleasant too.
She is. She's a great person. I am blessed with that to have her there.
Let's now go into a little personal information about yourself. What did you've worked at, you've had, different jobs, I imagine, in the county. Let's go a little bit into that.
Well, I moved to Pinal County 41 years ago. Well, in April will be 42 years ago. Okay, so it's getting up on the 42. But I came down here to build houses with my dad. There was a program through the Farmers Home Administration where they were doing housing in rural areas, primarily for the ag community. And I came down and was pounding nails. I learned that trade at a very young age. My dad taught me, he said, might not be able to send you to college, but I'll teach you how to make a living. And that has served me well as well. But anyway, I came down here to do that. And so I started in the construction trade. The housing market that my dad was in kind of fizzled, but I loved the Casa Grande area, and it reminded me of growing up in Tempe as a young boy. I was a bird hunter, and so it was easy to go bird hunting after work and before work. So I stayed. I just stayed and found work as a young man in the construction world. Later on, I married. I actually married a local girl from Casa Grande that I met in Tempe. So really? Yeah, that's a little quirky thing. But so we started a family. I, at that time, purchased a truss manufacturing plant that was in Casa Grande. Was in that industry for 16 years. I owned it for 8, and I sold it to a company out of Phoenix, and I ran it for another 8. At that point, I went to work for the city of Casa Grande. I went to work for Rosa Bruce in the housing department, which worked with the Farm and Home Administration. So I had a little bit of background there. I was in that division for 2.5 years, and I moved over to the building inspector's side for another 2.5 years. So I was with the city of Casa Grande on that side of the fence as an employee for 5 years. The housing boom was taken off, and I sought, for lack of a better word, higher pay back to the private sector. I went to work for a home building company. I was there for 8 years with a company called Country Walk Homes for 8 years, and then I went off and got my commercials license and did some commercial development in the Casa Grande area under a company named SMP Development, which I still have active at this time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So.
And one final question: what got you into politics?
Well, as a young boy, when I was 12 years old, I sat and watched the 1964 Democrat and Republican conventions. I was fascinated as a child by politics, and that influence probably came from my father somewhat. Probably the most political savvy guy I ever knew. So that's where it came from. I always thought it would be good to serve the public as in a political office. So I took the time when I was working at Country Walk Homes. I thought, well, I'm going to run for city council and just see what it's like, and prepare myself for the future of being a city councilman, maybe. And son of a gun, if I didn't get elected the first go at it.
Were you surprised?
I was.
Really?
I beat an incumbent that was seated in there for many years, a gentleman by the name of Vernon Hancock, who I totally respected, and it was a little bit of a shock that I actually prevailed in that election at the primary level. Even I didn't even have to go to a general. So and it was a great experience. I loved every minute of being a city councilman in Casa Grande. You know, there's not a minute that it's not an easy job. It's not a fun job. I always tell everybody at times. I always tell everybody, don't get into politics for the money or the thanks, because you don't get a lot of either one. But it is rewarding on a personal level. You know, I look at a lot of the things that we accomplished at the city of Casa Grande, and very very pleased, and I intend to do the same thing for the county of Pinal.
Okay. Well, I can guarantee you this will not be the last time we talk to you on TV. So
Okay.
we'll come up with your own show here, and it'll be great.
And contact me anytime for anything.
Oh, definitely. And
Okay.
that's for you, the
Thank you.
constituents out there,
Yes,
definitely.
absolutely. Thank
Okay.
you, Joe.
Well, thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Chairman Miller,
Yeah,
this
okay.
is, this is one-on-one with our chairman, Steve Miller, and thanks for joining us, and we'll hope to see you next time when we come up with more shows with the supervisors and Chairman Miller. Thanks again for watching.